For decades, people associated baby powder with cleanliness and freshness, but this perception has taken a dramatic and, at times, dark turn. The headlines are alarming. Johnson & Johnson recalls 33,000 bottles of baby powder for asbestos contamination. The FDA made the recent findings after testing a batch of products. These revelations are fueling a firestorm that has raged for some time. So far, more than 10,000 lawsuits have been filed against Johnson & Johnson, all attempting to link talc powder to cancer. Now, a new study provides some of the strongest proof that exposure to asbestos-tainted talc powder may cause mesothelioma. The rare and deadly cancer affects tissues lining internal organs. So is baby powder safe, or was the real risk shrouded in secrecy? Joining us now via Skype to help shed some light on this topic is trial lawyer Mark Lanier. First thing out of the gate, I was going to ask you how you uncovered this alleged link between baby powder and mesothelioma.
Well, we've known for decades that asbestos causes mesothelioma. Asbestos fibers are so infinitesimally small. That's why they do so much damage. They're small enough to penetrate the actual DNA and to make changes in the DNA inside of a human genome. And so it's so small, you've got to find that needle in a haystack. The way we went about doing it is a testing process that was discovered in the early 1970s, where it's like if you took a bale of hay and you had a needle inside. You wanted to find the needle. Float the bale of hay in a pool of water. The hay will rise to the top, the needles will sink to the bottom. Then you scrape the bottom and look for the needles. What you do with asbestos is you put the talc in a liquid that's got a specific weight where the talc will rise to the top. The heavier asbestos will go to the bottom. You scrape the bottom, you put it under the microscope, and you look and you find it. If you do that test right, 2 out of 3 bottles of Johnson & Johnson baby powder have been shown to have asbestos in them.
And Mark, you contend that the manufacturers, in fact, knew that asbestos was present.
There's no doubt about that. There are documents within the Johnson & Johnson archives that we unearthed. We had to go through millions of documents to find them. After all, the easiest place to hide a leaf is in the forest. So Johnson & Johnson would give us millions of documents. We would go through millions of pages. We found documents that not only showed that they knew they had asbestos in their product, but they knew the right test would show that asbestos, and the company made a deliberate decision not only to do the test wrongly, but to teach others and encourage the government to do it wrongly as well.
And I believe you actually found documentation that when testers were finding asbestos in their products, they just switched the tester, right? And they just didn't want that evidence ever out there.
It's crazy the lengths they went to. What Johnson & Johnson did is adopted a specific protocol that said, if you find the needle in the haystack, send it to a different testing lab and see if they can duplicate the result. If they cannot, then we're clean. If they can, then send it to a third testing facility, one which is known to be industry friendly, and let them look for it. And certainly by the third time you're looking for the needle in the haystack, you don't find it.
And just so that we're clear, I read something you said that actually was very compelling to me, that really the way talc is mined, it's going to be contaminated with asbestos. It's almost like the marbling in steak. You can't really remove it from the product itself.
You are exactly right. You can go to the store and you can buy a fatty steak or you can buy a lean steak, but that steak's gonna have some fat in it. Talc mines are marbled with asbestos. And the way they mine this talc is they go in there and basically bomb the mine. I mean, it's not like, oh, we'll dig around the asbestos. They bomb the mine. And when they bomb the mine, they go about trying to package the talc. You cannot avoid the asbestos.